Hi everyone, welcome to another video by the Wizards Workshop. Today I'm excited to show you a sneak preview of the zones that we've completed for MafiaEmpires within the 3 cities. It's going to show some of the progress we've made. Our team went, although we can work on 3D models and animation, it's not what our experience is. My experience is primarily in development, so the development side of the game is where we've primarily focused on. The graphics in MafiaEmpires are pretty decent already. We've worked hard on improving it, but we're always looking for new people to join the project. So if you check out wizardsworkshop.co.uk, you'll see a list of available roles where we're looking for world builders, we're looking for content designers, we're looking primarily also for 3D modelers and animators. We really want to share as much as we can about this project and how it goes. So we really hope you enjoy the videos we're making. Let us know what we can improve, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also check out the community forums at forums.mafiaempires.com. Thank you. Hi everyone. So what you're seeing here is the scene for Almond Lane. It's one of the cities, in fact, one of the largest zones within the city of Havana. They all follow this kind of style. So I'm not going to move around too much because my computer is not very powerful and it can't handle the recording and displaying this at the same time. I don't understand why. I mean, the scene is not very heavy at all. It comes down to about 30 megabytes. But I am running on a very old machine. It's a 6-year-old MacBook Air. So regardless, I'll go through a bit about the story behind these zones and what we're doing with this city. So Havana is under the control of 3 different gangs. That's a Band of Saints, the Sandwell crime family, and it's also under the control of the Bridgetown Cartel. Bridgetown Cartel is a gang that hails from a different zone, which I'll explain in a different video. But essentially, this zone, along with the others, it's going to be used for leveling. So the players will be carrying out different missions around this area, exploring the story, the gathering new items, and general things like that. I mean, as mentioned in a previous video, we're not 3D artists, so we can't be too ambitious with the graphics and what we do. I mean, for example, within the game right now, we only have melee attacking. We don't have actual shooting or driving. These are coming very soon. However, we don't have the know-how of creating such complex animations and 3D models. So if anyone is looking to join or help out with this part of the game, that would be amazing. But as mentioned, Almond Lane and Havana as a city as a whole is a very neutral territory within the game, primarily used for leveling up. All 3 of the different zones within Havana follow this kind of style. If you get a top-down perspective of the zone, you'll get a sense of the scale. So this is the largest zone within Havana, the city. It's quite nice. So if you head out to the left, the top left, you'll head out to Southwell District. On the bottom left, you'll go down to Park Valley, and on the right, it leads nowhere. If you go down, so south, you'll head down to Bermuda Run, which is a zone within a different city. So I mean, I hope it gives you a good overview of the graphics we're aiming to achieve within this game. I did have a previous recording of the gameplay and the UI. However, my computer can't handle the those two running at the same time for some reason. I mean, the game runs on mobile devices, the iPhone's even pretty fine, so I'm not exactly sure. Hopefully, I'll have that fixed for the next video. But yeah, so now if I check out another zone, for example, if you check out Sandwell District, which is the first zone the player will see when they log in, a new player rather, you'll see it's a completely different layout. However, it's a much smaller zone. If you can see here, you'll see here that it's a much smaller zone. So this is Sandal District. Going north, you won't lead anywhere. Going west, won't lead anywhere. Going east will take you to Almond Lane, and going south will take you down to Park Valley. So that's this is mostly Havana, as mentioned. Pretty straightforward. It's meant for newbie players to get used to the game. So yeah. So the next zone I'd like to introduce is Azure Hills, which is a zone within Southgate. This is the next city, so the second city within MafiaEmpires. Now, this zone, as you can see here, I'm not gonna, as previously updated too much, but as you can see here, it's a very industrial looking, desolate zone. The primary difference in the story we're going with for this area is that although Havana is very relatively stable, the background is that the Sandwell crime family and band of saints, they use it as a demonstration of their might or their civil order, because as mentioned previously, the story goes back to 1970 where the war on drugs wasn't launched. However, because the war on drugs wasn't launched, there was a collapse of normal civilization. So what happened is the gangs tried to assert more and more control until it became the fabric of civilization. There is no more government. Everything is controlled by these gangs that are fighting over the territory and have their own governmental structures or pseudo governmental structures. So this zone, although the the zones in Havana are used as a bastion for civil or their civil side, this zone is primarily used for the purpose of manufacturing drugs. So the gangs, or the story around this area, is that the gangs are manufacturing drugs, different kinds of drugs. Um, it's a lot more chaotic than the previous zones. Of course, we're going to incorporate aspects of gangs trying to sabotage, to try to take over manufacturing plants, to try and um, gain control and things like this. So it's a very interesting um, idea, and I hope you guys will enjoy this. The missions and the items and the NPCs around this area are all going to be very, very interesting. So, yep. So we'll move on to the next zone. So this zone is Bridgetown, which is a zone within Newport, the city of Newport. Newport is the largest city within Mafia Empires. It's actually twice the size of Havana and Southgate. But what's interesting about this is that it's a free fall. It's complete and utter chaos, which is something we've tried to reverberate within the architecture and the grungy look of the zone. So Newport has a total of 6 different zones, all with a similar kind of style. Some are more industrial looking, which I'll demonstrate in the next clip. But this one, which is Bridgetown, where the Bridgetown cartel hails from, is very run down. And the interesting thing about these zones is that they can be taken over by player created gangs. So although we have the user story, the built-in gang story where you have Sandal Crime Family and these others that have already secured their bastions and exist for a while. This area, this zone is this environment is where players can fight for control, fight for resources, build their own things. So it's a huge area. There's nothing here. I mean, there are going to be a couple NPCs, but there's nothing really too built in. It should be very interesting to see what kind of gameplay the players can come up with, because we see players fighting, not only fighting for control. We're going to see gangs forming alliances. We're going to see gangs battling it out. We're going to see deception. We're going to see liars. We're going to see clever tricks being used, and it's very exciting. I'm very excited about it personally. So yep, this is Bridgetown, how it looks currently. Hope you like it. So the next zone is Saint Hope, which is also within Newport. As you can see, this zone is not grungy and desolate like the previous one. The reason for this is that although the gangs are fighting for territory and fighting to keep things alive, they don't want to be fighting for any nothing, basically, for just some territory. So we have these areas that are more built up. They look different they look similar but different to Sandwell District and Almond Lane and Park Valley. In fact, these are just retextured versions of those cities. The players will be able to take over these zones as well. And yeah,